opposite them. We've got a meter, looks like this. It plugs in, to an outlet. I'll actually plug this one in. You plug it into, outlets through your house, and you get a reading. It'll show you how much dirty electricity, and it has a speaker so that you can hear the dirty electricity too. Now, my levels right now are really low because I've got our filters plugged in to my outlets. And I'll just go I'll show you real quick. I'll go take off. I'm gonna go unplug an outlet or one of these filters really quick, and you can see the difference in the meter. So right now, my dirty electricity levels, I'm working from home today in my home office, and I am at 44 millivolts, which is actually pretty good. We want you to be below 50 and below 25 if you can. I just unplugged this filter. When I had this filter in, I think it was like at about 24. I'm gonna go unplug the filter that's on the other side of my desk and show you what happens with these readings.
Cool. Well, I think it's really important for us to realize, like, it's a lot to shift all that. But, here we get the electricity, good appliances. We shift our light bulbs.
I know. Now
we think that we're doing environmental and, holistic things to help the world. And now...
Like, what are we doing?
Well, I do get it's a new thing. All this electro stuff, we're learning it live right now,
Exactly. So I'm going to plug this back in. And now, this is interesting because earlier I was sitting here, and dirty electricity is very interesting because it's going to vary by what you have running, in a house at any particular time. So my readings, when I took that filter, went up to about 178 millivolts on my meter. You can probably, I don't know if you can hear it, but you can hear a little bit of a buzz, maybe. Sometimes you can hear it louder. My levels in here earlier were at about 700 or 800 without the filters. And that's probably because my energy efficient furnace was running this morning. And so depending on what you have going on at any time, you're going to get higher levels. So you can see when I plug the filter back in, our filters are really simple to use. They're just a little plug-in device. This one comes with a 3-prong plug. We've got a 2-prong plug model. The nice thing about our filters is they've got a built-in outlet at the bottom so that when you plug it into an outlet, you're not losing the use of that outlet. If you still need to be able to plug something in, you can plug it into the bottom of a filter. You don't have to plug anything into the bottom of the filter for the filters to work, but it's just so that you can access power through your outlet. You don't lose the use of the outlet.
That's amazing.
Plug it back in. I plug it back in, and my readings are back down below 50 millivolts. So, and if I were to go put the other filter back in, my guess is it'd be, below 25 or so.
Would you recommend these on like every outlet, or is this something just to play with?
You don't need them in every outlet. So the nice thing about these is you usually you go by circuit. So what we usually recommend to folks is that we highly recommend getting a meter for a variety of reasons. One is that it really helps you get baseline readings. And so we recommend kind of just, go throughout your house, from room to room, take readings in the various outlets, kind of like have a little notepad just for yourself to kind of document different rooms and what kinds of readings you're getting in those rooms. Because you begin to see patterns. You begin to see where there's certain rooms in the house that seem to be higher in dirty electricity than others. And sometimes you can kind of guess why. You're like, okay, I'm in my home office. I've got printers, I've got my computer, I've got all these electronics, I've got, a TV monitor in here. I mean, you've got all those things that are going to be generating a lot. And you might have other rooms where you don't have a lot running, say like in a bedroom during the day, and there's really nothing running, where your levels might be a little bit lower. But it's really helpful to have the meter to get some baseline readings. And then from there, you kind of get a sense of, okay, where are my readings highest? And you start to install filters. And the meter is a very good tool, not only for kind of seeing, you can see before and after results. So you can see, what was your reading before you install the filter, what's your reading after. So you're seeing kind of what results you're getting. So it's nice to be able to get your baseline readings, to get, the before and after readings, but it's also a really good tool for kind of optimizing your installation. Meaning, what I mean by that is that you don't necessarily want to install more filters than you need, right? Because if, one filter in a room is going to get you down to the levels that we would recommend, then why install 3 in the room? You don't need them, right? Whereas in other rooms, you might need more. So it's, helps you to kind of fine tune what's the best number of filters to have in a particular room, or on a particular circuit, so that you get levels down to the recommended, level or below without installing more filters than you need. And it also can kind of help you figure out, sometimes the installation process is kind of a fun little puzzle. It can help you figure out what's the best combination of outlets in a room, to install, so that you are getting yourself down to the levels you want without any, strange issues coming up. Sometimes you can get resonance issues. Electricity is kind of a fun and interesting and mysterious thing. And dirty electricity is the same. And, it's dependent, like the filters are dependent, like depending on your electrical system, the amount of resistance you have on the electrical system, any number of factors. You might find, well, gosh, if I plug a filter into this outlet and then the next outlet down the wall, I don't get as good a result as if I put, one filter in here and then in the outlet across the room. So it can kind of help you fine tune the installation of our filters so that you get the best results, and so that you don't get any what we call resonance issues or things like that. And so that's kind of, in a nutshell, that's the one nice thing about dirty electricity. And even though, I still tell people with dirty electricity, I always think it's a combination of understanding what the sources of dirty electricity are in your environment, doing what you can to reduce them or reduce the use sometimes. But the reality is we can't get rid, in dirty electricity, it's very difficult in the way we live these days to get rid of all of the sources, because I'm looking around my kitchen, all of your appliances now have digital displays, right? So they have electronic components. It's just very difficult to get rid of all of the sources. It's not realistic to think that you can. And so having this type of EMF pollution be filterable, at least on the wiring, is really helpful. And so that's what, the products that we manufacture do. You can measure how much you have traveling along your wiring, and then you can use the filters to help reduce how much you have on the wiring. And the idea being that the less dirty electricity that's traveling along your wiring, the less of those frequencies and that energy that's going to radiate out into your environment. And dirty electricity, just like regular electric fields, can radiate 6 to 8 feet into a room. So, the less you have coming off of the wiring in your walls, the better. The cords, yeah.
I like that it's just a filter too, because like a nice combo of those things, because I can't imagine a lot of the sources would take us quite a while to untangle this.
And like I said, there are some good solutions, like when you look at light bulbs, or you look at, but yes, realistically, the way that things are these days, it's very difficult. I think it's nearly impossible to eliminate all the sources in your house. And like I said, even if you do eliminate all sources of dirty electricity in your house, you often have either, a little bit, a fair amount or a lot coming in off of the grid. I was working with a client the other day, and they had a neighbor. So it's sad.
The episode isn't quite over yet, listeners.
Or YouTubers.
If you haven't given us a like, subscribed, left us a review, or commented on any platform, we would really appreciate you showing us some love here at the Magical Holistic Healing Arts. Remember, Kangen water and our grab bag for the podcast. Thanks so much for listening, and stay vibrant out there.